Former Kano State Governor Abdullahi Ganduje to be arraigned on bribery charges in Kano. Tinubu's camp knows Wike cannot be trusted with power. This is coming from Dele Momodu. The APC in Edo State members oppose alleged planned return of impeached deputy governor to the party. Let's take stories from outside Nigeria tonight. UK, Rwanda eye first migrant flights within weeks. Jacob Zuma wins court battle to stand in South Africa's upcoming elections. You're welcome. Tonight, ahead of the April 20 governorship election in a primary, rather, of the All Progressives Congress in Ondo State, 16 aspirants have been cleared to appear before the party's screening committee. We'll look at this development as well as others as we count down to the APC Ondo State governorship primaries. We also cast our eyes tonight to Edo State, where there have been reactions to the impeachment of the deputy governor and the subsequent swearing in of a new deputy governor right there. My name is Kofi Bartels. Politics HQ starts now. You're welcome. Ahead of the April 20 governorship primary elections of the All Progressives Congress in Ondo State, that's in southwest Nigeria, we hear that the vetting committee of the party has cleared 16 governorship aspirants, including Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa, to appear before the party's screening committee. So we have the vetting committee, which has to vet the aspirants, and then the screening committee, which will screen them. One wonders what the screening committee will be doing after all. Well, the vetting committee found that contrary to allegations that Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa did not forge his WAEC certificate, now, there was some allegations that he had forged his secondary school certificate, otherwise known as WAEC. That's the West African Examinations Council certificate. Now, who are the aspirants cleared by the vetting committee? They include Aiyedatiwa himself, Olusoji Ehinlanwo, Jimi Odimayo. We have Jimoh Ibrahim. He's a member of the National Assembly. We have the APC's National Vice Chairman Southwest, Isaacs Kekemeke. We have Wale Akintewa, Olugbenga Edema, Olusoji SAN. Others are Olamide Ohunyeye. We have Morayo Lebi. We have Oladiro Iyota. We have Professor Francis Faduyile, Maiwa Akinfolari. We have Ifeoluwa Oyedele, who himself will be joining us on the program tonight, as well as two female aspirants, Fumilayo Adekojo and Funke Omogoroye. Interesting development. Well, last week we heard that the aspirants had intensified their visits to Abuja, which is the seat of Nigeria's president, to the presidential villa, seeking for presidential endorsement ahead of the primary. Now, only one wonders what the president's endorsement will do for the aspirants right there. All right, tonight joining us to look at the latest as far as the All Progressives Congress governorship primary is concerned. We have the Director of Contacts and Engagement of the Lucky Aiyedatiwa campaign organization. He is joining us via video link. Also, Ife Oyedele is an APC Guba aspirant. He's one of the names and the personalities screened out from that primary. We hear that Mr. Oyedele will join us later on the program. Charles, good evening to you. Thank you very kindly for your time tonight.
Thank you for having me this afternoon in my time.
All right. Okay, so it's afternoon where you are. Sincere apologies for that, wasn't aware. Are you satisfied with the work of the screening of the vetting committee, looking at how they were able to clear your man, Governor Aiyedatiwa, and 15 other aspirants?
You know, before I even talk about that, I want to talk about the banter that goes on in Ondo State right now. When you are walking on the streets of Ondo State, you ask anybody, show Lucky, they'll say, yes, Ori Meson, Mo Lucky. That is what everybody is saying. The whole screening committee charade is just a smoke screen by some people who know that they are losing and they are trying to pull someone down. You know, when you are in the mud, you are not scared of running in the mud. You just want to throw it. So that's why they are bringing up these accusations, because this is the current governor and was the former deputy governor. He was already screened at the time. Nobody was really asking all these questions. So when you even look at the details of the question, someone secondary school got merged with a new what's it called, due to the administration policy at the time. So he got into that school in 1980 and graduated in 1982. All of a sudden, that is supposed to be something that is suspect. Now, WAEC or WASE that was presented, they have not said that the body denied the certificate, that this certificate was not issued by us or whatever. They are just looking for some circumstantial questions to try to use to smear someone that is obviously winning. And this is not the first time that they are going to do it. They did it before he even got into the seat of Alagbaka House. You know, I don't know Governor Aiyedatiwa. I started campaigning for him because of the Ondo State in me. In Ondo State, we hate injustice, like the one that is happening in Edo State, or that just happened in Edo State. That was the same kind of thing that they tried to put Governor Aiyedatiwa through. If you can recall, it's just about 3-4 months right now. But he was also being investigated for alleged impeachment because they were trying to stop God's work, providence. He is there by ordination, and the people love him. If you can look at all the things that he has been doing, so the work of the vet committee is just, it's just rudimentary. Okay. It's just
so I want to follow from you, Charles. What was the reply of the West African Examinations Council to the Freedom of Information application by the lawyer Kayode Mogbo-Juri, who reached out to them because he wanted to find out if information on the candidate, Lucky Aiyedatiwa or Romison Aiyedatiwa from the 1982 major examination. That's number one. Whether or not in 1982 anyone with that name wrote the GC exams with a number that he had. And then number three, the list of schools accredited for the WAEC examinations in Lagos State in the year 1982. What was the reply of WAEC to the lawyer?
I don't know the report of the reply of WAEC to the lawyer, but since he is the one asking the question, I believe if they have given him any results to the contrary, it will be on the news right now. There has never been an issue with the secondary school certificate of this man, and he also had other qualifications. Secondary school is supposed to be the minimum, right? So if you scale over that, you have more than required. So these questions are invalid to me. They are invalid. You cannot be asking for the secondary school certificate of a sitting deputy governor. It is just because they are looking for ways to exploit things. They are even running to Abuja to try and gain endorsement because maybe they forget about history. Historically, Ondo State has always voted against the president. This is just a matter of fact. Maybe the only time they voted in accordance with him would be the Governor Aiyedatiwa's re-election. In the primaries in 2017, Ondo State voted against the president's choice. But when the president got into power, Ondo State gave him the largest vote margin and the largest vote percentage in the country. Ondo State people, they choose who they want. That is the history of Ondo State, and they have chosen Aiyedatiwa, and that is why the direct primary, but you will see the result, it will be a no contest.
So you're saying that this is not that there's no reason for this information to be put out. You're asking why should you ask for the WAEC certificate of a sitting deputy governor? I think you mean to say governor. But Charles, wouldn't you say that this might come back to haunt the APC in the election? It's very necessary for the vetting committee and even the screening committee to look into this and to be sure that they're not putting forward a candidate that will make them or cause them to lose the election. We know what happened to David Lyon in Bayelsa State in the 2019 governorship election.
Nobody has said the result was forged. Nobody with the authority, with the power to say it, has said the result was forged. That is what I'm saying. And he also had other qualifications. They said a minimum, the Constitution specifically said a minimum of secondary school leaving certificate or its equivalent. So nobody has said there are some what's it called? There is also the fact of forgery, but nobody has said. The only body that can say maybe a certificate is forged or not is WAEC. WAEC did not say that. or WASE. They did not say
but Charles,
that.
That's why I asked you, Charles, that's why I asked you, what did WAEC say? You've not been able to give me that.
Not the one that requested the information from WAEC, and I have not read
but you just
any newspaper.
from what you said, you seem to know what WAEC said, because you're saying WAEC did not say that.
No, what I was talking about was the story of the secondary school, because that was the circumstantial evidence with which, for other which were making these allegations, that a school was founded in 1980 and the governor graduated in 1982. So how come he spent just 2 years instead of 5? That was, based on the educational system at the time. It's from 5. So, and the story behind it was the fact that there were some schools that were dilapidated, and the Jakonde administration merged those schools with the new ones that they had created at the time, and then those students were able to keep on taking exam. I will tell you currently that my mother also has a school in Akure. The school started a few years ago, so they've not gotten to SS3, but they have been doing WAEC exam, because people change schools, and you can go to a new school in JS1, you can go to a new school in JS. It is not all schools that wait until their first GS1 student get to SS3 before they start taking WAEC. So if they have, that is nothing but that if they have a point, if they have something that is the real smoking gun, they should present it. If WAEC or WASE had said this certificate is forged or is wrong, they should present it. You cannot go and meet a police commissioner or deputy police commissioner and then get a shady, shadowy sort of investigation and consider that proof. We are living in a constitutional democracy. You have not taken it to the court of law to get a judge to argue the facts, to bring WAEC. There are ways to these things. So it is only when you are trying to cheat that you will try to smear and just go and meet one thing,
Charles, I ask you this. Did the screening committee, the vetting committee, did they write to WAEC to say, hey, we want some information for you, or they just decided on their own?
That the screening committee would have taken, I do not know. I'm pretty sure they would have investigated, because what they said in their statement is that they investigated it, and there was no reason for what's it called. They cleared the governor. But the only way you can prove if I want to make an allegation, Kofi, against you that you stole 2,000 naira from my pocket in Texas yesterday, I need to show proof. Because you are in Lagos, so I need to show how you got the flight tickets and came to my house and stole the 2,000 naira and went back to Lagos to be in the studio right now.
All right.
If they want to say the governor forged, they should bring the proof. They don't have it because it does not exist.
Okay, we will come back because there are some examples that we want to share with you and for your take. But for those of you watching at home, it's still Politics HQ. We'll be right back. Please stay with us. Welcome back. We're still looking at developments in the Ondo State chapter of the All Progressives Congress ahead of the primaries, that's the governorship primaries of the party, in preparation for the governorship election there. Of course, the APC is the ruling party in Ondo State, and of course, it follows that their primaries will attract attention and conversation and debate. We have in the studio one of those gentlemen whose name I read out, gentlemen and ladies, rather, as having been cleared by the vetting committee. I was asking him before we came back from the break, what the difference between the vetting committee and the screening committee is. But I'd like to say a very good evening and welcome to the program to our guest tonight right here in the studio. One of the candidates or aspirants, Mr. Ifelua Oyedele. Good evening to you, sir. Thank you for your time.
Good evening.
Right. And we still have, of course, Charles with us, Charles Oludare with us via video link. He's the Director, Contacts and Engagements of the Lucky Aiyedatiwa campaign organization. Even though Charles says he's never seen or met Aiyedatiwa before. Charles, we have to get the Freedom of Information Act on you. What's the difference between the vetting and screening committee?
Well, vetting involves looking at what has been presented to you and trying to investigate or assess whether those informations are true or not. Screening is almost the same thing, but maybe you now appear in person and they ask you questions about the facts that you have presented. And I think political parties are now being careful to ensure that whoever is the candidate that they present is worthy to carry their flag. So it's in their own interest to avoid, some of the challenges that we have seen in the past, where, for instance, in Bayelsa, I don't know the facts of the case, and I'm not talking about the facts of the case, but because of a court ruling the day before the governor and his deputy were to be sworn in, the Supreme Court ruled and something happened. So it's in the interest of the political party to ensure that they screen the documents presented by candidates, and also to vet the documents presented by candidates, and also screen the candidates themselves to ensure that they are fit and proper to hoist the flag of their political party.
Okay, so the candidates can go out. The party, the vetting committee can go out of its way to find information on.
Oh, of course. I mean, they can go to the security. They can use the service of the security agencies. They can even ask if they suspect foul play. They can even ask their university to send their transcript if they have the time. They can ask WAEC to send their transcript. They can even ask the prison authorities, the courts, anything. I mean, look, if you want to employ a driver, if you want to employ even a manager, a managing director, you ought to do due diligence on such a person to ensure that he's a fit and proper person.
And not say, oh, anybody who has evidence should bring it.
Sorry?
And not say anyone who has evidence.
No, you can also say that. That's why you request for referees or the history of a candidate for any position. For instance, if you say that you have worked with your organization before, they can write to you to say, this person says can you please tell us about him?
What if they are presented with some allegations against your person, for instance?
They have a duty
to go and look for
to go and verify such allegations.
All right.
Look, it's just normal. I have given you a very simple example. If you were to employ a driver, you have a responsibility to phone his former employer, for instance, to find out why he left the company.
Do you feel that if there is an allegation against, for instance, the academic records of a particular candidate, maybe yourself, for instance, would you say, hey guys, this is the information, all right? In fact, I can give you all the stats. This is where this, or will you say, well, if you think you have information, present to the public, let's see?
Of course. I mean, look, there is no limit to the extent a political party should go. When you want to fly the flag of a political party, to lead a state, it is a big responsibility. Even you have a responsibility, a duty to ensure that you are a fit and proper person to fly do you know what it has taken us to get to the point where we are in Ondo State today? So
you clear your name?
Of course.
Okay, I want to go to Charles, who's with us via Zoom. Charles, if you're there, an example I said I was going to share with you is one of the political groups in Ondo State pointed this out some time ago in relation to this case. They said that during the time of Governor Obaseki as governor, he's still governor, by the way, it's not gone, during his political campaign, an opponent of his accused him of certificate forgery. In fact, that's really as a double. And Obaseki swiftly wrote to the University of Ibadan, where he was asked, he asked them to authenticate his academic records, and he presented that to the public. Are you aware if your candidate Governor Aiyedatiwa has, presented his credentials, said, okay, this is everything I have, or look at it, or, I'm not guilty of what they're saying?
I'll just first comment about the, screening and vetting committee. I think APC needs to adopt the Ondo State report and end the duplicity of function, because I think they are doing the same thing. And yes, you are right. And this was an information I read, but I'm between stuff because it's the middle of the day where I am, so I skipped that information. The APC actually did their due diligence in verifying Governor Aiyedatiwa's certificate, WAEC certificate. They even, in the statement they released, they even attached a copy of what they got. They got a scratch card, went online and verified it from WAEC website. That was why they cleared it, and then they said all aspirants should desist from spreading falsehood, from fabulating for sensationalist purposes. Now, the only reason why people are saying this is because Governor Aiyedatiwa is leading. That is the point I want to keep on making. If Governor Aiyedatiwa were to be an unpopular candidate who nobody wants to associate with, nobody will be trying to look for his certificate. And the reason I was saying at the time that it is invalid is because this is a sitting deputy governor. I expected that the party would have done the due diligence when he was selected by Governor Aiyedatiwa about 4 years ago to be his running mate. So they would already have, verified all these things, because political parties is big business. Okay. Each of the 17 candidates.
I guess in the studio it seems to be shaking his head to disagree with what you're saying, Mr. Fellow or Mr.
Well, I don't have the facts concerning Governor Aiyedatiwa's credentials. But look, anybody has a right to query the credentials of anybody who is going to be in his employ. For instance, if you had somebody who is managing director of your company for 5 years, and on the 6th year you discover that issues arise that questions his some of the credentials, and some of these things can happen at any time. It can happen because, look, somebody was a minister in this country, and he was a minister, and that before somebody can become a minister, he will have been screened by the security agencies and everything. And a few years after that, information came out that he did not do certain things. He did not serve as a youth corper. And what happened? She honorably resigned. So please, let's stick to the facts. I am not talking about Governor Aiyedatiwa, and I don't have any facts, and I'm not looking for those facts. The issues are beyond those minute issues. We have a state to run, we have responsibilities, and we are going to present the best candidate. We are going to talk about competence, we are going to talk about integrity, and anybody who is going to lead a state must have unquestionable integrity. All of these things, they say Caesar's wife was above reproach. You have to be at a level where nobody can challenge who you are. And that's the issue.
Okay.
I agree with this man. He may have presented documents that they looked at that time, And if anybody has any other thing, he will present it, and they have the responsibility to check it again,
right.
and confirm that it is okay. And if they so confirm, that is it.
Okay, we want to go for a quick break. We'll be back, ladies and gentlemen, with more after this commercial break right here on Politics HQ. Stay with us. All right, welcome back. You're still watching Politics HQ right here on News Central Television. We want to continue our conversation, moving on from the controversy to the work of the committees. Charles Oludare, Director of Contact and Engagement, still with us via video link from the United States of America, if I'm not mistaken. Charles, you seem like you're in Texas, going from your the accessory on your neck. We have in the studio Ife Olusoji Ehinlanwo at APC Guba Aspirant. He's been one of those cleared by the vetting committee. Charles, are you satisfied with the work done by the vetting committee, and what do you expect will be the outcome of the upcoming screening?
Yes, and I would want to also, give credit to, my father in the studio, Mr. Aiyedatiwa, that, despite the fact that he is a stakeholder in this election, he has shown an integrity in not speculating about what he does not approve of, and he, was straight up with it and everything. He's the kind of person that, in another time, I would have someone that I would have even want to consider myself. I believe the vetting committee did a great job, in looking at it again, but there's only so many times that you can look at something before it becomes a waste of time. I feel like they have said, according to the what's called that I just read, and I think it just came out today, that they went online, verified on WAEC website, and this issue has now been put to bed. So let's focus on the primaries. Like I said, the banter on the street is Mofe Lucky. The whole state wants Lucky Aiyedatiwa, and it is in large part due to the injustice that was meted towards him all through last year. The people supported him. He was in the trenches with them. So I expect, and the APC has adopted a direct primary. So I expect it to be a ride in the park for the current governor, and then we will then focus on the general election. You can see the moves that governor is making right now.
So I want to ask my guest, Charles, I want to ask my guest in the studio, Mr. Odede, if he agrees. Is that the word on the street in Ondo State? Everyone
Charles is doing his duty. If you are director, contract and mobilization of a candidate, you ought to speak in favor of the candidate. So he is perfectly in order. But
is that the situation?
No, that's not the situation. Look, if I was a sitting governor in Ondo State, I will have no challenger because of my performance, even in 2 months.
You're saying that Aiyedatiwa has not justified?
Look, I'm talking about engineer Dr. Ifeoluwa Oyedele.
But has the incumbent been able to perform?
I haven't seen it, and if I had seen it, I probably would have given him that benefit of doubt. You understand what I mean? So, but I don't want to talk about persons.
What would you have done? I would give us concrete description of what you have done.
Let me give you a typical example. 1 month after, if I were governor, 1 month after being in office, if the burial of Akeredolu was going to take place in Owo, you will have been able to drive on that road, on a smooth road to Owo. I can assure you that. I'm an engineer of 42 years, and I'm telling you, you will have driven on a smooth road. And look, I don't want to talk about Governor Aiyedatiwa in this program because he's not the only candidate.
What else should you have done apart from that?
So many things.
Some examples.
So many things.
In 2 months.
In 2 months.
Tell me.
So many things. The security architecture of the state will have won a new outlook.
How?
When you talk about security, and I don't want to talk about my program on this short. Look,
2 months.
When you talk about security, what do you think security is about? It's first and foremost about the people. And the Constitution says that the security and welfare of the people is the sole purpose of government.
So what would we have done?
Now, when we say there is one security officer to 1,000 people, or to, even if you say it's to 100, is it possible for one single man to monitor 100 people?
So what would we have done in 2 months?
That's where I'm laying a foundation. Is it possible for one man, even with all the gadgets in the world, with CCTV, for one man to? No. But how do you understand that? What happens is that out of that 100 people or 1,000 people, the percentage of people who have the propensity to commit crime is maybe 10%.
Okay.
Now you employ the remaining 90% to work with the one man to ensure, as auxiliary policemen or auxiliary security people, to monitor the 10% that are going to commit crime.
Okay.
In 1 month, the appearance and outlook of the policemen in my state will have changed. In 1 month,
yes.
let me tell you, in 1 month, the commitment of the security agencies, the DSS, the military, the police will have changed. In 1 month, I would have been able to refurbish all their vehicles.
Where would have gotten the money from?
How much is the security vote of the governor every month?
Do you know?
I don't know, but ask them. Ask those who take the money.
If you don't know, how are you sure to be
I know. But look, it's not the issue. I don't reveal that on a television screen like this.
Okay, but you're aware.
But I'm aware.
Okay.
And
so
in 1 month,
vehicles.
look, I'm not going to buy new vehicles. I would have refurbished all their vehicles.
Okay.
So I will make them mobile. I will give them confidence. I will appeal to the people and I will restore confidence in all of the security agencies and unity and harness so that they can all work together.
How sure
in that 1 month,
Governor Aiyedatiwa hasn't done these things?
Well,
are you sure?
I'm not sure. You see, this is why I said I don't want to talk about an individual.
So you've talked about.
But I've told you that in 2 months I can change the paradigm in Ondo State.
So what you've said, if you had a chance of being governor after the demise, unfortunately, of the late Jimi Odimayo, you would have used that 2 months to really give people a reason to vote you back.
Of course, that would give me.
You haven't seen that. You haven't seen that, and if you had seen that, you probably would have had a different view. But I want to go to Charles. Charles, do you think your candidate has done enough that what he could have done in 2 months since he became the governor to justify his re-election?
For that question, my dad in the studio is an engineer, so I know I'm a medical doctor, so I'm sure he knows better than me. But I know that he knows that even if you mix just a cement, it will take about maybe 20 days for it to completely cure so that it can carry weight, if you're trying to build a house. So things take time, right? So it might be very difficult for you to do a lot within a short period of time. Or even when it comes to the security agencies, where we are talking, nationally about the state police and giving the governors the power to take the lead. But I'll talk about some of the things that Governor Aiyedatiwa is definitely has done, and is also planning, even in the areas of security. He has paid the gratuities of retirees about 1.5 billion. He has given about 220 billion, soft loans to small traders and SMEs. About 2,000 teachers have been employed. The last time that teachers were employed in Ondo State was about Agabu's regime 16 years ago. He has about 650 healthcare personnel. There's a dearth of doctors and healthcare personnel across the state. There's about 60 kilometers of roads that are being rehabilitated. And all these things take budget, so you have to work with the budget before you can start building roads like maybe the one you did to a war. So I can keep on counting. He has paid about 550 million of bike fees for school students.
Okay,
I can keep on counting if you give me the time. So
okay, I will give you some more time when we come back from this break. We have to go for a break. Okay. But I saw Olusoji Ehinlanwo here laughing in the studio at what you were saying. So you tell us why when we come back from this commercial. Welcome back. We still have Charles Oludare, Director of Contact and Engagement of the Lucky Aiyedatiwa campaign organization, Ife Oyedele. He is one of the governorship aspirants of the All Progressives Congress, one of those newly vetted and cleared for screening, the coming screening for the party's aspirants. Mr. Oyedele, you had a kind of a facial response when Charles Oludare was reeling out the achievements of Governor Aiyedatiwa in 2 months. He talked about some money's being spent on pensions and money's being spent to pay salaries, and of course, newly employed teachers and some roads that are currently being rehabilitated by His Excellency the Governor. What's your take on that?
I want to congratulate Governor Aiyedatiwa for what he has done, and I hope that when I have the opportunity to rule the state, you will see more. And honestly, I don't want to talk about individuals. I know that...
When you talk about government.
I want to talk about government, of course. The responsibility of being the governor of a state is huge. And for people of my age, we have a duty to make a difference. The truth of the matter is that most people come into governance without adequately preparing for governance, to take over the reins of governance. I have been prepared to be governor of Ondo State since 2015. And I had completed my pact with the people of Ondo State since 2015. In 2020, when I challenged the governor, the then sitting governor, Olusoji Ehinlanwo, my friend and my brother, I first went to his house and I prostrated to him and I said, Aketi, you are not doing well. And I begged him. And I said, Aketi, you know we are friends. I shouldn't prostrate to you, but I'm begging to you. First, I said he should harness the resources that we have and stop fighting with those who contested the position with him. And I said, if you don't do it, I'm going to challenge you. And I successfully challenged him. And I'm sure that you were in Nigeria when I was the leading aspirant. And I challenged him very, very successfully. I had to be persuaded to allow him to complete the terms, his second term.
You challenged him inside or outside of APC? Outside.
I contested. Everybody knew me. Oh. Everybody knew that Ife Oyedele was the issue. And he also knew. The day I stepped down for Olusoji Ehinlanwo, he sat with me in his car, right, and he was very grateful to me.
Okay, we'll come back to that. We want to turn attention now to Edo State, where our correspondent Bernard Akede joins us live from. Bernard, good evening to you. It's good to see you. We're aware of the recent developments in the polity of Edo State, where the Deputy Governor Philip Shaibu was yesterday impeached, and new Deputy Governor Ayo Bami Godwin's subsequently sworn in. What's the mood amongst the people in Benin City where you are right now?
Kofi, good evening. Thanks for having me once again. Actually, I'd say that the mood here in Benin is business as usual, as a matter of fact. Maybe this is owing to the fact that today is a public holiday, so everybody has been going around their daily businesses. Edo State is largely a civil service state, so most of the government offices, if not all of them, were actually closed. Our first shoot this morning was in front of the State Secretariat, and it was closed to regular office activities. Everybody else going about their daily businesses, not as much traffic as you'd have seen on a regular working day. But of course, the political class, as I mentioned earlier this morning, were probably having a different kind of day. Most of the people we tried to reach out to, we couldn't reach them because they were either having one meeting or the other, and then after that, everybody continued to enjoy the public holiday. So I think it was one way for the regular people of Edo State, and then for the political class, they were still, getting used to the new changes that they've witnessed between yesterday and the day before.
All right, tell us about the new Deputy Governor Omobayo Godwins, who used to be in the Labour Party. In fact, in the last year election, he was candidate for a House of Representatives seat on the platform of the Labour Party. Is he being well received by the residents of the state and indeed by stakeholders in the People's Democratic Party? What does he bring to the table?
So I was listening to one of the local radio shows this morning, and respondents who called in were saying things like he's an engineer, and that they hope that within the next 5 or 6 months, which the state still has before the next governorship elections, that he can influence some kind of engineering changes. So they said to the state, places where his expertise can be used, should be used in the next few months, to infuse some change in the state while Godwin Obaseki is still running. Now that's on the working part. Like you rightly mentioned, he used to be with the Labour Party. One of the guests we had yesterday on our news at 10 did say that he clearly has to have officially transcended from the Labour Party to the ruling People's Democratic Party before he can officially be announced as or be sworn in as the the new deputy governor. So I want to believe that that has happened. If it hasn't happened, then we may have some kind of legal drama in our hands. But I want to believe that the party will be smart enough to do that before swearing him in. So yes, it's not too long ago that he was with the Labour Party, and now it seems like he's crossed carpet to the ruling PDP, and it will be on record that he became the deputy governor of the state, even if it was just for 5 or 6 months. Right. He's been a politician like many others in the state here. Not so much information to dig up from him, unlike Philip Shaibu, who's been here for the past 8 years. But I want to believe that in the next few months, between 5 or 6 months, there definitely will be more story coming up about this new deputy governor.
All right, thank you very much, Belana Kenny. We expect to hear some more from you from Edo State and capital Benin City. We saw images there of the swearing in of a new deputy governor, Omobayo Godwin's. Quite interesting development. I want to say a final one from our guests in the studio. Starting with you, Charles. Charles, in just 30 seconds or so, do you expect a level playing field for the screening and for the primaries for all candidates? I mean, are you confident of that?
Yes. Yeah, I'm confident of a level playing field. I also want to mention that I want to thank my daddy for coming here to, campaign for Governor Aiyedatiwa. He said one of the reasons he opposed Governor Aiyedatiwa was that he did not bring people together. But contrary to Governor Aiyedatiwa, you can see as evidenced by even the Speaker of the State House of Assembly, who was, vehemently against him while he was a deputy governor, has now supported him, which shows that this man is a cool, calm, collected, steady hand to run the state.
All right.
So,
thank you,
Daddy. I hope I have been able to convince and not confuse you as to why you should join us and help us campaign for the governor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Felua Edele. Are you confident of a level playing field?
I am very confident of a level playing field. And I like Charles a lot. When I say to people that Ondo State has enormous, huge, tremendous resources, I don't mean minerals or things like that. I mean human capital resource. That's our greatest resource in Ondo State. And you can see from the way that young man is talking that although he said he has never met Aiyedatiwa, I'm surprised that a candidate will reach out to somebody in the diaspora all the way to bring somebody to be director of his contact and mobility. It means he's not in contact with the people.
Okay.
The truth of the matter is that, look, I'm a leader of the party. I'm a founding member. I was the only citizen of Ondo State in the merger committee. I was a member of the constitution drafting committee of the party. I was the one, or I am the one who is fortunate to have designed the logo of the party. The most beautiful logo you can ever see of any political party in Nigeria was designed by Olusoji Ehinlanwo, and that is the APC logo you see today.
All right,
apart from that, you have seen my contribution.
Thank you very much. Charles Oludare, you might have to hop on the next plane from Texas back to Nigeria, to save face. Thank you very much for your time. Olusoji Ehinlanwo, APC Gubakan Aspirant. Thank you very much for your time. We'll have both of you back on sometime soon. My name is Kofi Bartels as a sizable package. We return tomorrow night.